Hi there everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. So in today's video, we are doing a zero stamping. I haven't done one of these videos in a hot minute, and I wanted to start making some birthday cards for when I add new cards to my Etsy shop. If you're unfamiliar, my Etsy shop is currently at 60% off. So if you're interested, that's linked down below. I think I have 2 card sets left. And a few cards that are under $1. So if you're interested in any of those, all that will be linked down below. The shop will close probably the second week of September, and then it will reopen when I have some stock to put in. I want to add all new cards, start clean with the new logo, etc. So in today's video, we're going to be using a Doodlebug. I think it's Hey Cupcake. So I love to buy collections. So like I love Doodlebug. You guys know I love Doodlebug. If you didn't know I love Doodlebug, now you know I love Doodlebug. And what I love so much is I love their paper, number one, and their images are just so adorable. And they do ephemera, but they call it chit chats and odds and ends. So chit chats are more like their sentiments, labels for scrapbooks, etc. And their odds and ends are images. They're full color, they're already cut out, they are adorable. We're doing so much pun. Not Hey Cupcake, so much pun. Completely forgot. So anyway, in this video, I'm not going to be doing any stamping. Now, I will be die cutting in this video. So if you are a beginner, this is a really great way to make cards. But if you don't have a die cutting machine and you don't want to use dies, I'm going to link a couple of sketches in the description box down below that you can use, and you can make a card, and all you need is a trimmer, the paper products, and then some adhesive. So you don't have to use dies if you don't want to, or if you don't have them yet. This is a great way to make cards with just some paper and adhesive and a paper cutter. So, okay, so I think I've explained that enough. Let's head over to my craft table and we will get started. So, as I mentioned, I'm using the So Much Pun collection. This is actually from a few years ago, and I think the last time I used this was a few years ago. So you guys know I store my 6x6 paper pads in quart-size bags, and I also like to do that with the ephemera, die cuts, whatever you want to call them. As I mentioned in the intro, almost all paper companies that put out pattern paper also put out die cuts and ephemera. Not all of them, but some of them. You guys know Doodlebug is one of my absolute favorite companies. I love their style. I tend to do more whimsical, etc. So yeah. And what you see me doing here is I'm separating all these die cuts out. So I had mixed the die cuts and the words. So I am separating everything out. So like I'm putting all the dinosaurs together. I'm putting all the space stuff together. I'm putting all the food together. And that way I can go ahead and have everything in piles. And then once I do that, then I'm going to separate the sentiments and then put everything together. And then I'm going to put everything into some clear bags, and I store it that way. That way when I'm ready to make cards, all I have to do is pull a couple of bags out and go ahead and make whatever card is there. So this is a fun and easy way to make cards. You can make a ton of them. And there are some people on YouTube who have who show you different ways to use an entire paper pad. So I am not one of those people. I have made a lot of cards in the past. I did a holiday card series, a couple of videos where I made a ton of cards. And in fact, some of those cards are still available in my Etsy shop. I don't have very many left. So if you're interested, again, they're 60% off. The link is in the description. These will be available probably mid-September, maybe late September. I'll keep you posted. So like I said, once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in each of them at a time. So we're making 3 cards today, and I'm starting with this cute little oven with the cinnamon buns, and then the sentiment says, congrats on the bun in your oven. So I am using the daisy frame from TLC. I love this die. I've used it so much the last few weeks. You're going to see it even more because I just love it. So I decided to go ahead and cut out the larger frame from craft cardstock because there is a little bit of craft in the cinnamon buns. And then I'm going to use the inset die to cut out the pattern paper from the So Much Pun 6x6 paper pad. And then we're going to put this on a pink card base. So I'm going to cut the card base to 4¼ by 11, then I score it at 5½. And that's how that's going to work. Is that not just the cutest thing you've ever seen in your whole life alive, right? And there you can see the clear envelopes that I've been storing everything in. And then when you're done, you can just slip the card inside the envelope. Easy, it's easy breezy, cover girl. So here you see me cutting down the pink, and then I am adding the inside card layer. I like to add inside card layers when I'm dealing with a little bit of a darker cardstock, and this pink is for sure one that I would always put a layer on the inside. And I just sat down one day and I cut a bunch of white paper down to 4 by 5¼ and I have them in a bucket, and every time I need an inside card layer, I just pull out of that bucket. So I'm hearing that flat down because I want to pop up the cinnamon bonds, and I believe I popped up the sentiment. It's been a week or so since I made these cards. I apologize. I keep getting this confused because Simon Says Stamp did they just do a stamp or did they do a collection? So much punny, and it was very similar to this one, so I apologize if I got the name wrong. And like I've mentioned before, sometimes scrapbook.com or a cherryontop.com will have older collections because they hadn't sold yet, so make sure you check that out. So I decided to bring in this cute little pink heart. I'm adhering the cinnamon buns together so I can get those on there, and then I'm going to add the heart with some dimensionals, and then of course I'm going to bring in some shimmer because it's me. And I put shimmer on almost every card. I don't think I put it on the second card, but we'll have to see. So this is what that card looks like in a real time. It's so sparkly and cute, and I think it would be really fun, a really fun card and sweet card to send to someone who is expecting. Okay, card number 2. So this word bubble says you're super. I think you're a superstar. And I wanted the word your. So what I've decided to do is, or superb. Super, I don't even know what that says anymore. I wanted to say you're super. So I cut down that word bubble or thought bubble and put it on the back of that super word. And then later you're going to see me cut it out. Now, here is some of my design process. I knew I wanted to use the gingham because, I don't know, these soup cans just remind me of like being young, being in my grandmother's kitchen at the table with one of those plastic tablecloths. And I don't know, just anytime I think of that, I think of red gingham. Although I don't even know if the tablecloth was red. I don't know. There's just something about this red gingham that just makes me think of food and comfort and home. And I couldn't decide if I wanted it on green, if I wanted it on orange, if I wanted it on red, if I wanted it, to just be stacked, if I wanted it to be centered. I really went through it with this card. So it's not always easy for anybody. And again, this paper pack just makes it hard to choose because all the patterns are just so stinking cute. And you can see there on the back of that is the tacos. So really, really fun. So this is where I'm getting to where I actually end up landing. So I am going to go ahead and bring in some cardstock. But as you can see up there on the left is the next card that we're going to make with the popcorn, and it's all in its own bag. And again, you can store it this way, bring a couple out, make some cards when you need them, and then you can store it that way, or you can make them all at one time. Okay, so this is when I'm like, okay, I need an oval and I want a frame. So this is when I finally decided that I had some direction and I knew which way I wanted to go. So I decided to take away the orange, take away the green, and we're just going to do red and white for the background. So I believe this may be Poppy Parade, but it also may be one from MFT. I honestly don't remember. Sometimes I'll just throw scraps on my desk and it's anybody's guess what color it is. But I decided I wanted to go ahead and cut the oval out of white. Initially I thought I was going to do red, and then I thought, nope, I want a white background so they'll pop, and then we'll do red for the card layer. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my die cutting machine. I have the Gemini Junior. I did have the big one, but it was whoa big. Okay, So I wanted a background, and I wanted it to be stitched, and I wanted both patterns to be stitched. So in order to make that happen, you need to go ahead and adhere them together and then cut them out. And it's perfect and it works out great. And then you can just adhere it to a card. So for my card bases, I've been using Nina. I want to say it's 110 pound. I think it's 110 pound. I bought a package off of Amazon. And I cut that down to 4.25 by 5.5. Nope, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored it at 4.25. Brain. So you can see here kind of what my thought process was. And if you watched Friday's video, I mentioned that this is a go-to layout for me. So again, if you are someone who doesn't have a die cutting machine or you don't want to mess with it, I will also leave you a link to some sketches in the comments down below. In the description box down below, so you can go ahead and do something like this without having to use die cuts. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you guys want to see from me more often, especially during the holiday card series. I probably have 2 or 3 Doodlebug collections that I could go through. That's not even a lie. That's not even a lie. That's not even a joke. Your question of the day is, which card is your favorite? Because I think they all turned out cute, but I can be biased. I can be biased. So once I add that, I'm actually not going to put any shimmer on this card. And this is what this one looks like. I think it turned out so stinking cute, and I absolutely love those images. Okay, so now we're doing some popcorn, and the sentiment says popping by to say hi. I just thought that was so adorable. And I wanted to keep it to the colors that are on the popcorn. So there's that kind of yellowy orange pattern, and then there's that red and white. So I'm bringing in 3 circles, and I believe this is a Simon Says Stamp layered circle die. I brought in just enough that they would fit the images, and then I'm going to get these cut out again using my Gemini Junior. 10 out of 10 would recommend, especially if you're someone who has strength issues. It just got to be where I couldn't do the big shot anymore. And so I invested in the big Gemini, but I don't do scrapbooking, and I don't make anything, normally I don't make anything larger than like a 5x7 card. So I didn't feel like I needed the big Gemini anymore. And this one just fits better on my desk. So yeah. So I'm going to bring in that yellow ledger paper, and I'm going to use that as my background. But as you can see, I cut out all of the circles, and we're going to get ready to move on with this card. So I'm cutting this down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and it's going to go on a piece of red cardstock that cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. And again, this has to be Poppy Parade from Stampin' Up. It has to be. I think I've been trying to go through that one because I do have like 4 different reds from MFT now. I like MFT's paper better. Now the colors with Stampin' Up coordinate. The colors with MFT coordinate as well. My thing is the Stampin' Up is not quite as thick. So I've been using it for card bases for years, but the ones from MFT are a bit stronger. So if that's important to you, then there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the circles flat, and I'm just trying to figure out my layout because I know that I want the popcorn bucket to be talking, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes. You can't even see me. You can't even see me do air quotes. So yeah. Oh, I thought I adhered these flat. We're going to put some dimensionals on the back of them. And then I think I adhere most of the images flat. I do pop up a couple of them. It's just a little bow I like to I like to keep my scraps in, and then at the end of the day I can just dump that in the trash, and it's really easy. You can see here I had to play with my layout because I put it where it just didn't make sense. And that's another thing, you can play with your layout before you glue anything down. So don't be afraid to change your mind. Don't be afraid to change your mind. And pull stuff off. You just have to be really, really careful so you don't get anything underneath it. So you can see here I am putting dimensionals on the back. And then I wanted to use big ones on the back of the popcorn container. That way I wasn't using a ton of little ones. And I just cut those out. And then we're going to remove the backers and we're going to get everything adhered. And I wanted to make sure that that sentiment wasn't hanging too far off the card, because sometimes when I'm making a slimline card, they almost always have extra room in the envelope, but these don't always have extra room in the envelope. So I'm going to bring in the shimmer because popcorn needs to be glittery, apparently. And then that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, let me know in the comments which one's your favorite and if this is something that you would like to see more of in the future. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget, I will leave you a couple of links to sketches where you don't have to use dies if this is something that you want to tackle on your own. All right, guys, I love your faces and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.